There we go. All right.
Everything that lives is designed to end.
And off we go.
We are perpetually
Exciting.
trapped.
I'm actually really interested to see how Froob approaches this run. It's always interesting to see with the new runners to see the approach that they took to learning the game. Something I've been talking about in commentary the first couple of times, with just the different ways that when you are learning this run, you can focus on different priorities and still get a decent time.
This is Command. Your home quadrant. Come in. 2B here. All units have penetrated the stratosphere.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. There's quite a lot of things to learn about this speedrun in order to shave down your time, so yeah, we'll see, I suppose.
I'm interested to see if he'll fall more along the lines of like me or Questica, learning all the skips first, or if he falls along the lines of more like Litz or somebody else who I'm forgetting, but who go through and learn all the combat and movement very smoothly first, while avoiding most of the skips.
Origin point of long-range lasers confirmed.
To see both runners opting to get hit by the lasers here, just a minor optimization of being able to clear out your medium and large recoveries to menu quicker to your buffs on the first couple of fights.
Alert. Enemy unit sighted ahead.
Yep, just saves a couple of frames, really.
Permission granted.
Oh, not all that major, but again, you're not really doing much else to save time here. So
And it gives you something to distract you from the monotony that is this shmup. But yeah, the shmup section is mostly just knowing when the waves are coming and trying to kill things as quickly as possible. So there isn't really too much to say about what's going on here as far as technique goes.
Now, that being said as well, to anybody who's new to watching the run, if you haven't seen any of the other earlier tournament matches and you have a question about something that might happen, we're more than happy to give an explanation as to what the runners are doing. There's a lot that kind of goes under the radar of the viewer, and we can't always get into everything here. Having two runs go by runs by super fast, so we try to explain most of it, but
yeah, this is a very, very condensed speed game as far as things go. And if you haven't seen the speedrun before, just so you know, this shmup, this game's exactly gonna play like this the entire rest of the game. So hope you're in for a fun ride, an hour and a half of shmups.
we pretty much Toho, but you can melee the bullets.
Yeah. Not actually.
Not at all.
We'll be done with it in about a minute on each of these runners' screens, so hopefully we'll get to see some more interesting gameplay soon, TM. Yeah, Pipes taking some extra hits. Froob definitely dodging all of the pipes. Interesting that Pipes would get hit by the pipes and Froob would dodge the pipes. Something about their names, perhaps.
Now we can see Pipes moving a little bit ahead, just a bit more efficient clear speed on this opening shmup. And we'll see what both of these players get for their RNG on the fidget spinner. Pipes getting the good RNG of the bullets. Sometimes it will spin, and that can slow down your clear speed if you don't know what you're doing.
Spin it to lose.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Alright.
Looking like his was about to fly away, but he does end up getting the full kill.
Pipes getting some pretty decent clear on the first wave of stubbies. Very nice.
Now again, like the opening shmup, this section is all about clearing waves as fast as possible. Each silo usually has about 3 waves of enemies. We'll see
Very
Pipes
clean
now.
segment there.
Pipes now moving on to the first boss of the game, Marks 1. If you've played this game through before, you will definitely notice something here in this section of the run. Both runners are going to absolutely shred through Marks' HP, and this is due to something that we use called damage glitch. Usually when you do a standing heavy, you'll throw the sword out and it'll spin around a couple of times, but if you do it while running or evading, it will do actually about 5 times damage, allowing you to just completely shred through these bosses.
It's a pretty good attack, I would have to say.
For sure.
Cups, no.
And other things the runners will do a little bit later in the run will be taunting. If you spam your flashlight on and off at enemies, you will enrage them, putting them into a state where they'll take 1.5 times more damage, but they'll also deal 1.5 times more damage. That can allow you to clear them faster, but it's a little bit more risky. But in this game, it's usually not too bad.
High risk, high reward. So
Something
we
you
just saw
definitely need for
Pipes
speed.
do it. Froob's doing crane skip here.
So open.
Will he get it? Nice, and with the ledge grab, he gets some auto lock on there, but looks like he'll be fine. So this wave that Pipes is fighting right now with the flyers is probably, at least it's one of my least favorite waves in the entire game, because they like to try and avoid you, play a lot of chicken. But it looks like he cleared them pretty well. Froob's fighting that disgusting wave of flyers right now.
I see Pipes moving now on to one of the harder movement skips in the game called Bridge Skip. It's just a lot of kind of precise timing on the jumps.
First
Pipes getting
try.
it first try. No tournament nerves here.
What a legend.
It's not too bad of a skip once you have it down, but again, with tournament nerves, getting that first delayed lift can be a little bit challenging. We'll see how Froob deals with it, as he's now coming up on Bridge Skip as well.
Looks good so far. Ah,
Just barely not high enough.
missed it. Yeah, it's a very unforgiving skip. There's a lot of very tight timing in terms of the inputs you push. And if you mistime any one of them, you will not gain the height necessary in order to make it to the top of that bridge. Ooh, Froob's, this one looks good. Nice. What was that, third try? Still an admirable attempt.
Pipes hitting a very nice laser, getting 4 out of 5 of the stubbies. Very optimal
Very
as
swag.
well.
Now we'll get to see, is Pipes a cool boy and will he go for swag? Or will he just be a normal boy? Ah, no swag.
Maybe
It's a
they,
damn shame.
I don't know, moved it somewhere?
Is that?
Alright, Froob and the silo as well.
Yeah, there's more plants and animals here than there used to be. Probably because the environment's changed. There should be another facility across that bridge. It's a bit of a hike, but should we check it
A
out?
couple of the large stubbies giving Froob a couple issues, but nothing too terrible so far.
Bad intel from time to time, huh?
Again, as we said, time and time again in this tournament, anything can happen. All it takes is one little mess up and you can be behind by anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, depending on where you screw up.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And we have seen it happen. I've seen it happen on at least 3 of my commentary runs so far.
This game is very unforgiving for the most part, so you want to play well. Alright, Pipe's getting a pretty good Marks II fight with the one cycle. Froob just about to start that very same fight.
Froob not having a too bad of a prologue. That third tri-bridge skip was pretty decent, being as he is a little bit of a newer runner. So a 10-minute start Marks II isn't actually too bad for him.
Honestly, that bridge skip is probably the majority of the time difference between the two runners currently. So, he's doing pretty well. Oh, he's using slow-mo on this fight. Interesting. Ooh, Pipes with some swag right there. Just letting the missiles explode right behind him as he walks left and right very slowly. A slow walk.
You guys don't look at explosions, you know.
Yeah.
So we will see what Pipes gets for his Angles RNG here. The cutscene will be coming up very shortly. Hopefully he doesn't get punches, as that will be about a 20-second time loss.
Alright, here we go. We'll find out.
What's your status?
And it is not punches. A ranged attack, so it is one of the optimal timed attacks, I should say. And it looks like he's gonna go for the left pipe. Oh, okay. Alright, Pipes, I see what kind of game you're playing. Oh! Oh! And the debate into the right pipe. Got him. Right pipe, best pipe, yeah.
I'm more of a left pipe guy myself.
But I mean, it's Pipes, you know, he knows his pipes.
You're right. He can see the
Clearly.
pipes.
Clearly the right pipe is the superior pipe.
So again, another time section of the Angles fight. While Angles just rips up the bridge that you're standing on. You don't even really have to deal damage to him here. You can just kind of give your hands a nice little break right at the start of the run.
Packing in.
Alright, we're going to see Pipes approaching the stairs over here. He's going to do another little piece of movement tech called the double lift. Normally when you go to do any sort of aerial momentum, you're going to perform a lift by jumping and using it heavy. It looks like he does screw it up the first time. However, if you do
got
a
the ledge
lift,
grab. Good.
you do a lift into a slanted platform, your feet will actually touch while you still do the lift, resetting your jump and allowing you to perform a second lift, giving you tons of height.
Double lifts are pretty good. We use it a number of times throughout the run. Some skips are just very difficult without it, so... It looks like Froob got punches earlier, so that's a 23-second time loss for him, just from RNG. Very unfortunate.
Pan having a pretty good ninjas from what it looks like as well. Decently on pace for I want to say 15 or 15-20 prologue.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Talk? I didn't know the machines had that kind of intelligence.
Alright, and we'll see Froob now coming up on that same section. I'm not too sure if he will go for the double lift strat or if he'll just run right around Angles. We'll have to see.
Ooh.
Oh, interesting. Going for a little bit of a different method. Looks like he's trying to use the bridge.
Oh, the counter!
That was so
that
weird.
Worked.
That could have worked.
Man. Froob.
Not too sure if he knows how to do the double lift. I think he's going to opt to run around now.
Yeah, there we go.
I remember when I was learning the run through, I wasn't using the double lift, and I was also trying to do what Froob did, using sort of the bridge skip method of the delayed lift and light aerials thrown out. But it's definitely very, very tight. It's a lot easier just to do it with the double lift.
And Pipes defeating Engels in 3 fell swings. It's a 15-13 prologue.
15-14.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So we'll now see him moving on to the bunker section. Just a lot of menuing here for the most part.
Nothing for.
Everyone loves menuing in their action-adventure video game.
Love it. I love menuing so much. I definitely don't mash my way out of accepting quests all the time.
Who messes up mashing anyway? Are you even a speedrunner if you mess up
Believe it or not.
mashing? Oh,
I have Yosu fingers, but I can't mash worth anything.
rip. We'll see if he messes up at all here. It is quite easy to mess up the menuing. Ooh, clean so far.
I could. Okay, once you're finished.
Clean. He took a little bit of a delay on that self-destruct menu, the third of the 3 bits of menuing you have to do here. But it looks like Pipes did a pretty good job.
Look at that.
I.
Oh. The.
Nice.
Huh?
So we'll see Froob now coming up on the end of prologue.
Oh,
Should be about 1720, I want to say.
An access point to save your data. You can see access points on the close range map.
You're probably better at estimating these times than I am, so let's go with that. Yeah.
Honestly, I just throw out ballpark figures at this point, and I'm usually within a couple seconds. But I don't know any of the timings in my head very well. It's actually going to be slower than a 1720.
Flight units, huh? Better head for the hangar.
25? 23?
They're way too expensive for us grunts.
Ooh, he paused early. No. Oh, that's unfortunate. All right. So one thing to note here for those of you who've been watching the races so far, Froob is playing on a PS4. Pipes is playing on PC. Since Froob is playing on PS4, however, we are not comparing using loadless timers. Both players are racing with RTA.
Models are built for that kind of thing.
Orders are orders.
All right, all right.
You're going to have some new weaponry installed from here on out. I'll put up
Alright, so Pipes doing the second shmup in the run, and hopefully the last shmup we see, but we still have Gruen. Alright, and Froob doing
Sorry, you go ahead.
the fidget spinner, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pipes getting the spinning fidget spinner.
Froob with some clean menuing too.
Sorry for the trouble, but we can't risk the enemy discovering their position. Understood. Good luck down there.
We see it being brought up in chat about Froob being a little bit behind at this point. There is a decent bit of time difference in the 2 PBs for these players, but again, Froob did say something about a grun skip in the pre-voice lobby, so
he did, didn't he?
we're going to be seeing if he's pulling out that PS4 grun skip tech, that hidden tech.
Hidden tech, eh?
According to our intel, none of the machines in this area are hostile.
So see Pipes now onto the City Ruins section of the game. Not very much combat here, just a lot of smooth beeline movement and a little bit of aerial movement tech to get over the barricades. He'll just be getting into Resistance Camp here to pick up a couple of fetch quests. And
fetch quests, my favorite quest.
Oh, I love fetch quests.
If you could have one type of quest in any video game, what kind of quest would you do it? I'd pick fetch quests, to be honest.
Fetch quest, hands down, better than anything.
Yeah. Who needs meaningful quests with actual story or interesting boss fights or whatever? I want fetch quests. Give me more fetch quests.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I did spend about 6 hours of my first playthrough just reloading my game save at Resistance Camp to do the fetch quests over and over. That's how much I love them.
Wow.
How else
that
do you
right
get
there.
250 hours?
This must have been quite a city once upon a time.
Escort quests, no. Please. And the worst thing is when they're like slightly faster than you, but when you're walking, but slower than you when you're running, so you have to like you have to like change your speed all the time to stay within range of them. Ugh.
Not really. I just figured it might feel nice.
Pipes picking up these items here for this fetch quest in the correct order, so saving about a second there over picking them up in circular formation.
Records show that vegetation has grown to an abnormal size since the departure of humans.
Alright, Froob dealing with the shmup there pretty well, considering you don't have any recoveries after prologue. So doing well not to get hit very much.
It's a very Monka-esque part of the run, for sure. Especially for newer runners.
Okay, that's
Alright, Pipes on his way back to the Resistance Camp now, finishing up those glorious fetch quests, and he'll be on his way to the desert to go deal with
The
Adam.
Resistance is a valuable ally to Yorha. By helping them, we also help ourselves. So no, I don't think they're a pain.
Yeah.
We'll see Froob now coming into the City Ruins.
Ooh, doing some acrobatics there. What a champ.
So we'll see Pipe now going to be upgrading his short sword to Virtuous Contract 2. That'll open up dash swinging as a more efficient movement option. I'm sure we'll see it from Pipes. Not sure about Froob, as it is something that can be easy to flub if you're newer to the run, and just wouldn't be worth the time in the screw-ups that you would be taking.
It looks like Froob's been doing dash swings throughout the run though, so I anticipate that even after he upgrades the sword, he'll continue doing them.
Coordinates confirmed for locations.
You see him doing right now.
Understood, 042. Placing marker on target.
Alright, Pipe's heading over to the first sub-area of the game, the desert area.
Again, just a lot of smooth movement over those barricades. Good aerial movement tech.
Oh, going the long way around,
interesting,
Pipes? So this is actually, when we first came up with this movement, we thought this way was faster. But it was timed, I want to say around 3 or 4 months ago. So this would have actually been during Pipes' hiatus. That going over the building to the right is actually faster by about a full second. And much easier, I should add. Much easier.
So we'll see now, Pipes getting all his buys down. He's going to buy a couple of attack, melee and ranged attack ups, as well as a sachet, animal bait, his resilience, all important resilience chip, and just spend the rest of his money on medium recoveries.
Map data, huh? It's hard to get an accurate picture from
Hey,
this.
that movement looks kind of weird. Did you know you could get behind the save point like that?
No, did
Kind
not.
of.
General idea is
Ah,
enough.
interesting.
You don't let anything
Pipes
get
is
in your way.
revolutionizing the meta of this run as we see it.
Yeah, clearly walls are mere suggestions to him. He just wants to take the beeline no matter what it takes.
Alright, and we will see Froob finishing up with the fetch quests himself. Looks like he did opt to do the barricade skip there, although it is faster to just go through the ground and beeline it. Alright, and we will see Pipe on his way over to pick up Pod C. It is pretty important in our run as we use it to one cycle a couple of the bosses later in the run and just generally speed up Groon. Having the second pod for its pod program will greatly increase your clear time of those shoot 'em up sections.
There's an interesting glitch you have with Pod C that you can't have with any other pod combination. If you hold down the pod program while you're in Pod A, you can unleash 2 pod programs with that and then switch over and use the third pod program, even though you only have 2 pods. We'll see if Pipes uses that during the Atom fight that's coming up shortly.
Alright, so Froob coming through and doing... it looks like he's going for the same route as Pipes, actually.
Wow, did they look at the same run to like learn their speedruns or something?
Curious. It is interesting. You said Froob has been on the hiatus as well from this game.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So it could be actually sort of an interesting glimpse into the past of how this run used to be done.
Are we literally traveling through time right now?
We might be.
Wow.
What's that?
Analysis.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he had done the buys at Resistance Camp and bought the and rode an animal over to Barricade.
Oh, yeah, that's a very old route.
Yeah, that is a very old route. I don't think the hiatus has been that long, but...
Report. Mail notification received from access point.
Alright, Pipe's coming up to another out of bounds. First try clip, very nice. Froob taking that other out of bounds that we didn't even know people did behind the save point. How interesting.
Alright, we will see Pan coming up to the Atom Pit section of the run. He's going to go into this mess of apartment buildings to hit a trigger that you'd normally hit in the tunnel. Looks like he does opt to go for the Void Out strat, which does lose about 4 seconds, but is a lot safer, especially if you're not comfortable. We have seen a couple runs in the last 2 days where there has been players falling into Atom Pit.
Ooh, Froob, is he going for the Discovery skip? Oh, okay.
Gets back into bounds. Not a huge deal, though, at least. It's better than if you're not confident at voiding out, because if you do manage to fall off and void out, you're going to lose the time you'd save by using that skip anyways.
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
So we'll see Pipes now starting on the pretty much just the giant robot grind here, right in the bottom of Atom Pit. They're just going to keep spawning in. You're going to want to clear them as fast as possible for the experience that you'll get out of them, as well as the chip drops.
Yeah, it isn't quite obvious just from watching the run, but the drops you get here are very important for later. This is basically the best chance we have in the run to get critical chips. And while we don't equip them for probably another 10-20 minutes in the run, having them is just really nice.
All right,
Starting with Adam.
Adam definitely being one of the harder bosses in this game. Just a lot of iframes that he has, as well as some very annoying attacks. As well, too, if you don't hit the damage threshold, you will lose time to his phase cutscenes.
Like that one right there.
Dodge. Projectile. Deflect.
I think he's evolving. We better
Ooh, that low HP. Okay, he didn't die. So that's good.
So we'll see Pipes doing what Fullest was talking about earlier with the charged laser. He will hit Adam here with 3 lasers, ideally.
Oh no, he canceled it.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Alright, he did it. Very
You
nice.
will skip that phase. Ideally, you just skip all of those teleportation phases altogether. But Pipes, I think he did get hit, and so it canceled out his laser before he could fire it off. Froob looking like he's having a little issues with the initial clip out for housing, desert housing. It is a little weird of an angle, for sure.
The way I remember the lineup is it's not quite parallel to those windows, so it's definitely not like super precise or anything, but it's a very strange angle indeed.
What the hell just happened?
Alright, now imagine Froob will also opt for the void out strat. But you never know, we'll see. We'll see if he has that hidden tech.
He's got Grin Skip in his pocket apparently, so you know. Alright, he's voiding up. Pipe's coming up to the box clip here. If he gets it, this should be interesting. Ooh, first try. Oh no, he clipped back in bounds. No.
Well, at least as a side note to that, I don't think it's too big of a deal as both runners are running on RTA. That skip won't have as much of an impact as it normally does when we play on loadless.
True.
Ideally, he still would have liked to get out of bounds, just to shorten his route and beeline towards the desert transporter quicker. But again, not going to be too much of a time loss as we're running an RTA here.
Alright, Pipes making the most important decision of the game, and he did it correctly.
Now, thankfully, that that decision there, you can just mash without inputting any direction and you will get it. It feels terrible when you do select the wrong option because you know that there's no reason you should, and it will end up losing you a couple minutes as you will have to either run back to the resistance camp or clip through a wall that's still present there because you chose the wrong option.
Yeah, it's very strange that 9S would want to suggest to us something that would lose us over a minute. I wonder why. 9S is a slow boy, do you think?
Target location confirmed. I'm worried about the other androids. We should probably check this out as soon as possible. Looks like our surface route's been cut off. Maybe we can get through. So 2B.
Alright, Pipe's using a little bit of a different method there, just the standard standstill heavy plunge that goes straight down instead of the diagonal standard plunge. I don't know what to call it right now.
Yeah, we usually call that the plunge and the just midair heavy.
Right.
But yeah, the plunge is much harder, so. Oh no, I think it goes into the cutscene. Pipes was trying to do there was go over this cutscene trigger, which would save probably 5 seconds or something. Something like that.
And we're going to see Froob starting into Adam fight now. We'll see if he can get the doesn't get the cutscene skip there at least. We'll see if he does know the skip for the ranged phase. I'm actually really scared for him because I don't know if he's in one-hit range with Adam being caught in there.
He's close for sure. And Pipe's doing what we call Let's Play skip, because this is a speedrun, not a Let's Play.
Oh my god, Froob, please just use the medium recovery.
Do you really think it's a good idea to leave the tank behind?
If they aren't hostile, fighting them is a waste of time.
Please don't die, Froob. Or you know,
my god,
okay.
oh, okay,
healed. He got the message.
He's got defense buffs as well, it looks like, because that definitely would have done a lot more damage without the defensive buffs.
Oh boy.
I'm sweating a little bit now.
Yeah. Monka S.
Hey, 2B?
Yes?
People who know me well usually call me Nines, so...
Pipe's riding on a roller coaster. I don't know if it's just me, but do you ride roller coasters like that, Six? Just,
no.
You know, like standing on top of the seats and running around killing.
No, I'm a safe boy.
Yeah,
Safety
usually
first,
you
man.
like sit in the seats, right? This does not seem to be very safe, what Pipes is doing right now, but I suppose if the game allows it, so will we.
Alright, and we'll see FroobMcGuffin coming up on box clip. We'll see if he goes for it or if he just opts to push the box all the way out.
Okay, he's pushing the box. Yeah.
Alert. Multiple
Keeping it safe, I like it.
Yeah. He will have, he'll technically be saving time over Pipes on this, since he won't have, since he won't be going for that skip at all.
What the
Pipes starting my favorite fight of the game, at least casually.
Likewise, also my favorite fight.
Bovar's got it all. Cool soundtrack, cool boss fight, and she even throws your dead friends at you.
So now we're just waiting for the hacking phase to start.
Froob about to make a very important decision,
And he
and
does
he
it.
makes it correctly.
Bueno.
It's trying to hack us! If we take hacking damage, it'll affect our bodies as well!
Alright, so now sort of an annoying section that Pipes is coming up onto is the hacking phase.
Are we serious?
You ideally just want to clear these out as fast as possible and avoid the hacking waves that get shot out and the rings. Each hack, depending on how fast you do it, could lose you about 6 seconds or so.
6 seconds, you say, Six.
You stop it with
Sorry.
your puns. I was watching chat during my run and I saw the amount of puns and I was disgusted.
I can't help myself, I'm sorry. Looks like Pipes got hacked once,
I've almost analyzed the enemy's hacking
but
pattern.
one hack isn't too bad.
Keep it busy.
You got it.
Yeah, so far a pretty clean boss. And we will see another thing that he will do at the end. Once he hits the damage threshold, he is going to initiate a self-destruct to drop himself into range.
Ooh, buffing, okay.
alert. Saturation attack triggered by
Very nice.
Thanks for the assist.
Oh,
So self-destruct, it puts you to 1 HP and removes 2B skirt. I'm not sure which of those two things I like more.
What is it?
So it actually does look like we're going to see almost the proverbial runner handshake of one player coming into the section as the other leaves.
Yourself.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, and
I guess.
Froob voiding out there. That plunge angle is actually quite tight. If you're off by just a little bit, you'll miss the platform that's out of bounds.
It does.
Froob having a little bit of a struggle here, it seems, with this plunge.
He got it, okay. Oh, and he fell.
One of the
after
weird
doing-
angles, yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame. Oh,
So the
but
thing
he
to
respawned
note.
out of bounds.
Oh no, he's gonna have to save this.
All right.
He'll probably just opt. Oh, he is gonna opt to stay in. Usually at this
Oh.
point, I would just pop myself back in bounds and try to skip over again.
So why don't the machines?
Yep, and that's
aliens
exactly
or
what he's doing as well.
attack the bunker directly? They originally came
Oh
from
my
outer
god, he
Ooh.
is not having any luck
There
with
are
this
a few
angle.
theories about that, but no one knows for sure. Hard to tell what an alien is thinking, you know?
So I guess the one interesting
Oh,
thing to
there we
note
go.
about the SD that we saw Froob do at the end of Bofar is we'll be using that in the next section of quests where we'd be running items back and forth between Pascal's village and the Resistance camp. We're going to see him ride an animal over to Resistance camp after grabbing this fuel filter. And then when he gets to Resistance camp, he'll pick up the item from an enemy and then go back to his animal that he rode over and get the animal to kill him. Because he grabbed the save point at Pascal's village, he will warp back to it, but still have the quest progress done. That will save a decent chunk of time. And actually, it looks like Pipes is opting not to do the box clip and going around. I suppose it would probably be because I don't think he has a small health pot. When you're at this low HP, you actually can't use SD, and to do the box clip, it's pretty easy if you do have an SD. So usually you want to use a small health pot to keep yourself within one hit range of the animal, but allow you to open up your SD.
Honestly, Doobie, I don't know how I'm supposed to go on living.
I am definitely not the person to discuss this with.
We'll see if Pipes is fast enough to be able to hang up this phone call.
You leaving would be bad for me.
Because 2B doesn't really have time to be listening to 6-0's relationship woes. You've got to go fast.
You need me, Doobie?
All Model B combat units require the assistance of an operator. So
we will see
Oh,
him.
no. He's not hanging up. Man, Pipe's such a compassionate runner.
Deeply involved in the lore of this game.
Alright, and going for the Death Warp.
What do you think?
Good attack RNG. Good Moose. Angry Moose. Save time, Moose. Froob's starting the best fight.
Yeah, and we'll see how Froob approaches it. Ideally, you want to, after hitting her damage threshold here, position yourself closer to the stage. As once she hits her damage threshold, she will fly back towards the stage. Ideally, you want to reduce that time as much as possible, so by positioning yourself close to the stage, you'll reduce that time she takes to walk back.
Still gets a very respectable 1 cycle.
What's that noise?
2B, this is an emergency transmission from the bunker. We're reading a Goliath-class enemy.
Alright, and Pipe's on his way over to City Angles. Again, just a little bit of smooth movement through the city ruins.
A Goliath?
And I love this part that Pipes is coming up on now for just symbolizing how broken this run is. Because you get to abuse 2 of the exact same boss back to back, just one after the other. It just feels very cheesy the way we do it in the run.
I wouldn't call it cheese. Wouldn't you say it's just more exploiting developer oversights?
Okay. Whatever you call cheese, man. That's fine with me.
Let's find another route.
I enjoy my dairy, thank you very much.
But we'll see Pipes now coming up on the first skip for Angles. When he does eventually get up to the top of the building, there is a pile of rubble that blocks the bridge over to the flight units. Fortunately, because of quotation developer oversights, we will see that there is a small window above the rocks that is not actually blocked off, and it allows the runners to jump through and just skip the angles entirely and go onto the bridge and get in their flight units and fly away.
All it takes is a couple of well-timed, well-placed jumps. So we'll see if he gets that. Froob finishing up the Bovor fight on the right. Alright, Pipes. See if you get it. Okay, he misses his window of opportunity, but he will still be going over this invisible wall here. Because that's also developer oversight. They just, you know, no one's ever going to try and go that high up anyway, so why make the wall any taller?
Oh, interesting. Froob actually not opting to SD after Beauvoir.
And picking up some
And
items
picking up
after
the drops
fight,
as
too.
well, too. Very interesting.
Yeah,
So
those
now
are
we'll-
some very old strats, picking up the drops.
Again, we're time traveling today.
Mm-hmm.
So now we'll see Pipes. On this laser, you can just wedge yourself in between Engel's shoulder and neck and get both of your pod programs to completely go into him, thus two-shotting him.
Good kill. Froob been practicing the double jump? Yeah, he was practicing that before the race started, actually, on stream. If any of you were watching the stream before the race began, you would have seen him attempting it like 3 or 4 times. So hopefully we'll get to see that out of Froob. Ladders in this game.
Yorha, this is your command.
Oof.
For the first time in centuries.
I don't even have to be playing the game to cringe at the thought of climbing ladders in the game.
Ladders, Dan's game.
They're actually just possibly one of the worst things.
I used to make the joke that the ladders kind of have quantum shifting states because they're both there and not there at the same time. You just phase through them half the time.
If we're lucky.
You're not much for
Schrodinger's ladder. Only in NieR Automata. Pipes coming up to negotiations here. A timed section of the game, depending on dialogue.
What is this place?
So once he's in there, the dialogue's begun. There's not much to do but wait.
Now, there is one thing we can specifically do after we kill Eve here.
You.
We do want to get the free level up out of killing Eve, so we'll see. Probably we'll see Pipes go for the escape out of negotiation. We can kind of explain it as he does it.
Wiped out.
So Froob now running back to, I think he's on either the Resistance camp or he's going to City Angles now. No, he's going to the camp.
Yeah, he hasn't done the death warp yet, so okay.
And it is going to be interesting to see because he didn't opt for the SD, so we'll see how he gets this death warp off. I imagine he'll probably do it before the dialogue to an enemy.
Yeah, that's most likely where he'll do it. I wonder if he does boar hopping. Please tell me, Froob, you know about boar hopping.
Why then?
Because they are an enigma. They killed uncountable numbers of
Yes!
Oh,
Boar
he
hopping! Yes!
It's
But keep going! Keep hopping!
What could
Yeah.
drive such behavior?
Boar hopping is great. Not only is it fast, it has fantastic meme value. Oh boy, it looks so fantastic. Look at that. That majestic boar hopping all around. Transporting 2B at speeds faster than light itself.
Alright, we will
Pipes
see
going for
Pipes.
that escape. Ooh, messing up the first attempt there.
Now essentially we can just use the counter hit lift as like a double lift to get the height that we need. Eventually when you get to a certain threshold above
Ooh.
the wall, you sort of snap back into the normal third person and you can go over the invisible wall there.
Don't die, Pipes! Okay, he didn't get the escape, but he made some admirable attempts going for it. Froob going for the death warp here. Hopefully it doesn't scare his animal off. Ooh, and where did the boar go? Oh, he's like way out here.
Stop complaining.
Yeah.
Alright, he
Alright.
does get a decent death warp off.
This is Operator 60. We now have an
Very
operational
good.
transporter in the city ruins. We're attempting to deploy them at other points as well.
About time we had access to those.
Care to fill me in?
Transporters? They let you transfer your consciousness to a temporary body back in the bunker.
Hey, your command. Oh, up next.
So this...
Still, their flight...
Alright, and Pipes coming up pretty shortly here on, I want to say one of my favorite sections in the game, just movement-wise. I honestly love the forest and castle just for the movement options that you get.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think when I was first learning the run, forest was my favorite section as well.
It was
Especially
just so
for that.
satisfying, the castle.
Oh yeah, castle skip.
Just going, not even a particularly hard skip, but just being able to go up the outside of the castle and miss the giant labyrinth that is the up and down castle.
Why don't we rest a little bit, 2B?
It's a pretty cool skip,
I'll rest if I
gotta
can.
say. Froob going to city angles, and we did see before the stream that he was practicing that small window skip for the first angles. We'll see if he gets it.
Now again, for everybody just joining us, we did have Froob in the pregame lobby say that he, on average, loses about a minute trying to set up grunt skip. So we're gonna see. He is a little bit behind now, but he might pull out the hidden tech and pull right ahead of this race.
Not even I know what that's all about. I'm excited to see. Alright, Pipe's doing some quick menuing here to stock up on buffs and stuff.
You know, I'm not honestly sure what would amaze me more, if he found grunt skip, or if he found grunt skip on PS4.
One of those seems like a subset of the other, though.
It is a little bit, but it's still a mind blow nonetheless. Without having any access to the practice tools that we have on PC, finding those sort of skips would definitely be quite the tedious process.
Yeah, very challenging indeed. Alright, crit 1 diamond, crit 1. Can he fit 3 crit? Okay, he put in a shockwave instead. So 2 crit plus 1s and a shockwave chip for Pipes. Pretty decent spread. Alright, not opting to not go for bomb skip there. Oh shoot, I didn't even look. Did Freak get the window?
I'm not sure if he got the window or if he got backup strat, but either way, he is out of Garoon without killing it, so he did one or the other.
9S works just fine.
Dang.
Yeah, but
We'll see him now coming up on the second angles. Again, he is going to get the good attack pattern.
rough sometimes, huh?
Unfortunately, it looks like he got hit by the laser and cancelled his pod program.
I think some of us are better at that than others.
He did get it off, it just didn't do as much damage.
This must be a commercial structure
It is saying
Pascal
that
was talking
Froob
about.
did get it.
The records say it was once a facility
Still a
known as
pretty quick
shopping
kill.
center.
Okay, so it looks like in chat, Froob did get the skip, so pretty good. Pipe's doing a dialogue skip here. That saves around 20 seconds, I think it is.
It's a pretty good chunk of change.
Who the heck is the Forest King?
You're getting distracted.
Well, what do you expect? I'm a scanner. Combat was never... Check this guy. He's just running away.
So something interesting about this game, anytime you hear when Pipes is doing his attacks right now, since he's got the crit chips equipped, you hear the sound of like glass breaking. That is actually a crit. And each crit in this game does 500% damage. That's right, 5. It's not 200% damage like you might expect from other video games. So crits are quite useful in this game.
Couple that into the already inflated damage glitch that we're doing, and it's tons of damage.
They're multiplicative, by the way.
Here they come. Better keep your guard up.
I'm aware of how to fight.
It'll be really
Just be
interesting to
careful.
see on Eve towards the end if if the crit chips will be enough. If he goes for the double damage glitch slow-mo to phase skip, could save him a decent bit of time.
How are we supposed to reach that castle?
They're in relatively smooth movement coming here from Pipes through the forest section. We're going to see him coming up on one particular skip that we use to get up to the castle. There's two methods that a lot of the runners will use. Mario Kart being the easier method, and then the slightly faster but a lot more complicated Rainbow Road. Looks like Pipes will opt to go for Mario Kart.
Ooh, that was a fast one.
Yeah, it was
Pipes
interesting.
being a fast boy.
Yeah, he did end up going off. Normally, I go off the rock towards the right of it. Yeah, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he did opt to go for the other one to get a quicker plunge towards the corner.
Nice. With the punch clip, very good. To the root, and Pipes coming up on probably the coolest skip in the game. Also one of the oldest skips in the game. Just scale the castle using these windowsills here. No big deal.
And then this conveniently placed staircase right at the top for aesthetic purposes in the backdrop of this side-scroller. We actually get to use it to get ourselves into the side-scroller.
How very convenient. This game is just filled with happy little coincidences.
We'll see him pod launch to save a little bit of time on the cutscene walking towards the Forest King.
2B.
And now we'll be starting into the A2 fight.
Android. A Yorha-type android.
Alert. This unit is currently wanted.
Now
by
this
Yorha.
fight
Annihilation
is
recommended.
a little bit difficult for newer runners. I don't think Pipes will have a problem. And it's also made a lot easier by having the resilience chip. Just being able to keep yourself topped up on HP when A2 throws out attacks at you, you won't stagger.
We've picked up a signal from the black box of a fugitive known as A2.
Ooh, this is a pretty good fight so far.
What you see in front of you is your enemy.
A very clean fight
Yeah.
so far. No runaways from A2.
Let's go after her, 2B.
That was very well executed.
And now normally in this section you would go out the window to chase A2. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we can just do a couple of high jumps and then go right over the dialogue trigger that would send us back in that direction. Pick up the transporter here and just go to Pascal's village, skipping about 40 seconds in dialogue time altogether. Yeah, we're having it said in the chat, dev oversight or 2000 IQ developer. We've been talking about this on a couple of the runs, but it almost even feels like some of these skips are too perfect. Like we have a speedrunner on the development team who just left all of these in for us to find.
Mm-hmm. We should see what the next Platinum Games IP looks like, and if there turn out to be pretty good speed strats in that game as well. I think it all but confirms that there is a speedrunner of sorts on that dev team.
Should run a check on our consciousness data and
Babylon Falls, by the way.
Alright, Pipes going back to the Resistance camp. Here we will be seeing him execute the Flooded City skip. Not the most technically difficult skip, but I remember it was one of the ones that sort of blew my mind away when I was learning the run, just because it seems like, oh, you know, who figured this out?
It's definitely impressive, that's for sure.
In all reality, it's pretty simple to execute.
Thanks, 2B.
Still, machines are the enemy. Don't forget it.
Oh, it's the resource dead and with a penny.
Yep, easiest out of bounds in the game. Just jump on that box right there. And Pipes will be heading to Flooded City momentarily.
It starts off with a double plunge down here towards the cutscene trigger. You'll see him do a pod spin underneath and jump into the cutscene. Very clean. That'll
Well
pick
played.
up the Flooded City Discovery trigger. And we'll see him do another plunge in towards the drown zone of Flooded City. Yeah, I didn't think that one would be far enough. If you can get far enough out, you'll hit the drown box down at Flooded City, and the game will think you're down there already, so you save all that walking down there.
Androids don't need to
Pretty
worry.
convenient,
As long as you
to
do
be
the
honest.
regular cleaning and maintenance, they will
Really makes you
Yeah,
think.
but come on, 2B. It still
Yeah.
feels good.
And also, Six, you asked earlier, who the heck found this skip?
Oh, yes.
More often than not, when you're learning this speedrun, you'll probably ask that question and wonder who it was. The answer 90% of the time is Marky. Based God Marky. Pipe's getting a bunch of whirly arms. Oof. Making quick work of the short fight there.
I think that's the last of the machines.
And now he will be going on to the sleeping accommodations, a part of the game.
Yep. As soon as he gets in that flight unit, we will promptly ignore Pipe's part of the stream until he is done. And we should please turn your attention towards Froob's run.
Now, one thing to note, I'm not going to delve too deep into the specifics of it, but there has been a bounty raised to find a skip for this side-scroller section of the game that Pipes is on. I believe that the pot is now up to $2,000.
Yeah, last I heard it was 22 something. So we really want this skip, guys. And if Froob pulls it out, then I mean, I guess he wins the pot, so we'll see.
Yeah, Froob might be holding all the keys here. I think I will, even though Froob is behind, just because we are on Groon, I might switch the audio over to his stream.
Oh, yeah.
Normally we keep it on the lead runner, but again, this section is pretty sleeping accommodation, so...
Sleeping accommodation, best accommodation.
Alright, so Froob now finishing up the 4 robots section. Did he equip his chips already, or is he waiting still?
Yeah, he equipped them before doing the buys, actually. So, kind of an interesting sequence.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, he ended up having, I think it was, well, he put on his resilience and he put 1 critical +1 chip.
Okay, so not overall too bad for his chips that he got.
Yeah. Definitely better than some runs I've had. It is entirely possible, since the trip drops are completely RNG, to have a run where you have literally no offensive chips. And it's probably one of the worst feelings in the world.
That being noted, world record, if I remember correctly, was a no chips run.
Yeah. Canaris is just too fast.
He's just a nutter.
I wonder if Canaris has ever considered being running a little slower to be a little more considerate for the rest of us mere mortals.
What is with these guys?
Don't listen to what they're saying, 2B. How are we supposed to reach that castle?
Ooh, okay, I thought he was gonna overshoot the bridge. Oh boy, Froob. Alright, here we go. Alright, Froob going for Mario Kart skip here. Well done. And he used a large recovery. Very, very interesting. There's a moose in the corner. What? Wait, what is this moose doing here?
Oh no.
This
This
is
is unfortunate.
very unfortunate. And now
Oh
this
my
moose is
goodness.
going to be very angry. Looks like Froob is gonna choose to fight the moose and come out victorious in order to get that clip.
Unfortunately, if you do try and do a pod launch to clip out there and there is an enemy within your sight, you will automatically lock on to that enemy.
Yeah.
So,
and despite animals being generally friendly, they are still auto lock on targets.
quite the unfortunate little sequence there for Froob.
Yeah. However, despite that, he seems to have executed the skip very cleanly, so...
Alright, let's see how he handles this A2 fight.
B. That's an android. A Yorha-type android.
Alert. This unit is currently wanted by Yorha. Annihilation recommended.
Annihilation? But why?
Let's go, 9S.
2B?
Okay.
Bunker to 2B and 9S. We've picked up a signal from the black box.
Ooh, is he doing slow-mos?
He is.
Wow.
What a swaggy guy. I don't even do slow-mo.
But she
deserted us. She's destroyed multiple pursuit androids. Now
Slow-mo strats are pretty good. So, I don't think we ever really explained it, but every once in a while you'll notice the runners holding down the pod program and then canceling it repeatedly. Turns out while the pod program is targeting and Froob's HP is kind of low, okay, while the pod program's targeting, it slows down the world around you by around half time.
Oh my god, Froob, please.
Ooh, that was pretty...
I can't. I'm sweating for him. He does this so much.
He's definitely a ballsy runner. Oh no! That's like the far edge of that trigger too. This has to do it again.
Unfortunately, it looks like he's throwing in the light attacks. You don't really need them here. I think he's just kind of taking that little bit over from bridge skip. Does get it.
Yeah, possibly.
This run is the ending on normal mode.
Alright, Froob does get the skip, and he transports to Pascal's village.
All in all, not too bad of a forest section, besides the little hiccup with the moose.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, and since he will now be coming up on the flooded city skips as well as Groon, I'm going to switch the audio back over to Pipes.
Mortar fire.
Got it.
We do get some pretty good music out of this section, even if it is pretty sleeping accommodation.
That is very true. Casual playthrough, this is definitely a fun part in the run. When you start speedrunning it, though, it does get a little bit tedious.
Yeah, having to spend 10 plus minutes of every speedrun you do in an hour-and-a-half run doing this shmup, which is mostly auto-scroller, tends to wear on you.
Alright, and that marks about the 2/3 point through run. Pipes now just having to take out a couple of EMP cores.
It was designed to help annihilate the androids, but it wound up going out of control. I was part of the machine.
Alright, let's see how Froob takes these flooded cities.
The moment it reached land, it went berserk and began attacking everything in sight. No one could figure out how to stop it. They eventually marooned it deep in the ocean.
Alright, going for the out of bounds, easy, well played. Ooh, he got stuck on some of the invisible walls
I
there.
have another idea. You keep that thing right where it is, okay?
What?
Please, Tubi. This is gonna work.
Oh, and now we get to finally get rid of 9S on Froob's part of the, or on Pipe's part of the screen. So finally, we get to go
He has a plan.
through the rest of the run without 9S being in the way.
And unfortunately, looks like Froob getting the V1 version of the Flooded City clip where you just plunge into the hillside out of bounds and then run your way towards the cutscene trigger. Unfortunately, you do miss out on the warp back to the top where you can plunge down to Flooded City, so you do have to run all the way to the start of the next fight.
Froob's on pretty good pace though.
Yeah, I'm curious if he's on a PB pace or not, but I can't actually check because I don't think he's submitted a run, so I don't have any splits to pull from.
Yeah. Pipe's coming up on one of these cores. I think this is the second core. Cores are probably the only interesting part of the gameplay in Grun, but it's certainly not visually impressive. Getting the one cycle on these cores is quite tight, and ooh, Pipe's getting a troll cycle there. Yeah. So you're locked into this 2D plane of movement. You can't attack outside of it, but the core can, you know, move its targets outside of your plane. So the game can just choose to give you free time loss if it feels like it. It's pretty nice. Definitely part of the reason why we want to skip Grun entirely, because, yeah. RNG, auto-scroller, resident sleeper, sleeping accommodation, and Froob entering the flight unit for the boring part of the game as well. Alas, here we are. Both runners are...
Thankfully, there is a gap between these runners, so as one enters Grun, we're going to see another proverbial runner's handshake of the other leaving. Which, unfortunately for Froob, but fortunately for us commentators, we don't actually have a complete dead zone of commentary.
Yeah, nothing like reciting the script from the B movie.
Oh, goodness.
But it is unfortunate. Despite Froob's claims of having Grun skip, it doesn't look like he actually had it.
You never know.
Shame. Oh, maybe he has a way to skip only parts of it?
Maybe he has some advanced AI manipulation. Maybe he just manipulates the waves into skipping Grun.
I see. I suppose I had too little faith.
We won't know until it's over.
Pipe's coming up on the third core, the final core, and after that we'll be done with this madness. Missing the one cycle there, but hopefully he put enough damage on that small core to kill it pretty quickly once it moves over. Yep, there you go.
Alright, and the Grun section of the game is now over. We're going to get into another exciting section. A lot of intricate skips here in the last section of the game.
Oh yeah. Probably the only interesting thing about Grun, in my opinion, is that it heralds the really cool parts of the run, to be honest. The early parts of the run are just kind of okay, in my opinion. But these bits at the end here are truly the highlight.
So we'll see Pipes going on his way over to a pretty precise clip that we call Copied City clip. Normally when you play through this run, you would have to keep running through the sewers all the way until you get to the open pit around where negotiations has started. Fortunately, there is a skip that we can clip out of bounds and then plunge towards the tunnel for negotiations and get right to the elevator for Copied City.
Oh, another interesting thing is, normally, at least casually, the game really directs you to go back to the Resistance camp to go talk to Devil and Popola, get the scanner pod program, scan around the flooded city, and then you finally come to this elevator that we're about to go to. but you can just skip all of that and go straight to the elevator. So the game's kind of nice in that regard.
Han, I need you to scan for any nearby
There's a lot of
platforms.
lineups for the skip. Pipes getting its second try, so very nice. Not quite going with the plunge, just keeping it safe and doing a little bit of a pod glide down towards it.
Never heard of
It is possible to soft lock your game if you land on top of the back part of the elevator here.
Oh, really? I've never seen that.
I think, sorry, quote me if I'm wrong, but I've heard people talk about soft locking on the Copied City clip.
I wouldn't be surprised. I've never done it before, so that's interesting.
I've never done it myself. It's the same thing with me for Flooded City. I've had a lot of people say you can soft lock doing Flooded City clip, or yeah, Flooded City clip, but I've never done it myself.
Yeah, you can actually get stuck in the elevator during Flooded City skip. So that's an interesting one. I've done that one. Alright, Pipe's going for mansplaining.
Have a keen interest in humanity, love,
Mansplaining skip, I should say. But he doesn't want to listen to the mansplaining.
The more human records I unearth, the more charmed I am by their complexity.
Third try clip, but it doesn't really matter too much because we're mostly waiting on a particular chunk of the dialogue.
Don't you think? Almost.
So his movement's a bit choppy there.
Adam having 3 different dialogue sections, with the last one being the longest, so we cancel out the last dialogue section using the elevator over here. It prompts us that we should continue to search for 9S. That will cancel out Adam's dialogue and start the fight pretty soon afterward.
This bit where he talks about death and he's trying to explain to us about how humanity likes to fight and stuff. We're like, you know, you're just a bit too emo for us. I don't really feel like listening to all of your mansplaining, so we skip it. Now, that skip right there is also very scary because ending that dialogue automatically triggers you to come over to this part of the game, but if you get stuck in the elevator serves actually as a loading zone to unload this area, but the cutscene will still play and teleport you here, resulting in a soft lock. So Pipe's able to avoid that soft lock, thankfully, which would effectively end his run. So it's very good.
It's a pretty easy to avoid soft lock by using the method of just punching into the elevator and evading backwards out, but still scary nonetheless because there really isn't anything you can do.
Pipes did the scary method of walking laterally to the elevator entrance, so whew. Got him.
Pretty clean Pipes, or pretty clean Adam fight coming out from Pipes here.
Pretty clean Pipe, yeah.
Pretty clean Pipe.
Pipes. Yes.
So we'll now see him doing a dialogue skip here in the resistance camp. Normally there'd be a lot of dialogue you have to wait here, but by talking to the computer girl and going outside of the trigger zone for it, you can skip all of it. That'll allow him to buy his skill salves here, as those will be used for later in the run.
Did he just buy 23?
I think so.
Dang.
Personally, I buy 20 as well. I like to go a little overkill on it.
I think you only really get a chance to spend like 5 in the final fight, so that's just surprising to me.
I suppose he might know something.
Cool. Pipe's heading on over to Factory, where we get to see probably one of the coolest skips in the game. Froob over here having just completed, just killed the first core of Brune, so he's still got 2 cores ahead of him, but making good progress here.
They wanted to discuss a peace treaty.
No kidding.
Apparently, they're seeking to form an alliance of some kind.
Yeah, I definitely love the Deep Factory skips. It's a 3-part skip, and it looks really complicated altogether. It's not too bad once you get it together. A little bit hard to execute one part of it, but once you get it down, it's a pretty swaggy skip.
Yeah, one of the really cool things about running this game is that most of it isn't very difficult, but the visuals are just so impressive that, you know, you just look super freaking swag no matter what you do. I mean, it helps that 2B is very stylish.
The other nice thing to note about doing the sort of out-of-bounds clips in this game, unlike a lot of other speedruns where these massive glitches are required for you to progress in the run, there is actually no out-of-bounds clips that you have to use that require you to progress. So it's very beginner-friendly. You can kind of choose and pick what skips you want to learn and what you're going to step on.
Ooh, Froob missing the one cycle on Grin there.
You enter the domain of God.
Alright, now we're in the factory.
Here we're just waiting for the priest. Takes like about 15 seconds to walk over to this elevator to turn it on for you.
We need to find a way to make him walk faster. I don't know how. He's got some sort of super armor, so we've tried all sorts of things, but nothing seems to make him go faster.
And we'll see if Pipes goes for the Mook's room clip coming up here. Some runners opt to just kill the room entirely. Others will opt to do the clip. The clip does save about 8 seconds, but if you get an ideal Mook's room clear, but you are missing out on the experience that you would get from it.
Become as gods, yes. We will be hearing that track soon. If you would like to become as gods as well, post your become as gods in the chat. Please don't actually become as gods though, because I think for the machines here, that means they want to die. But feel free to chant along.
My name is Pascal. I'm here to discuss the peace treaty.
Damn it.
Ooh, I think Pipe's going for the out of bounds. Alright.
Or he's just he's opting
okay.
to head it out.
Positioning.
With such unique perspectives, I wonder if there's a way to collect.
Less talk, more running. 2B to bunker.
Fortunately, we can't up the music volume. That is something that is left down to the runners.
Immediate escape route.
Communications are currently unstable.
Loop a distress signal.
2B, the door on the other side of the room just opened. Let's check it out.
Alright, and we'll see Pipes now coming up on the sections of skips known as Deep Factory. The first one being down in this room here. What we end up doing is warping out of bounds, and I'm not entirely sure why, but it does cause the elevator, which is normally locked behind you here, to reset, allowing you to go back up to the Mook's room. When you hit this skip in conjunction with all the other skips, it does end up saving you about 1.5 minutes of running through the factory.
1.5 minutes is a lot.
That is a lot of time. And then the other thing you don't have to worry about is the dreaded Crushers.
Ah, yes. Crusher's skip. Feels pretty good.
Yeah, the Crushers being one of the things that can just straight up one-hit you, even if it lands on your toe in this game.
Yeah, there have been... We've had so many different clips of people dying to Crushers because they dodged out of the way, but 2B's heel was stuck under the Crusher or something silly. They have very interesting hitboxes. At the same time, we've also had plenty of clips from people who were definitely under the Crushers, but the Crushers decided to just push them out, so... Ooh, Pipe's getting it.
Very
That's a required trigger right there, and it's very tough, because you have to time holding a pod hover there, otherwise you just fall inbounds. Alright, well played. That's the last potential soft block, too.
Exit route secured.
Pipes definitely not wanting to give away the run here to a soft lock. Not opting for the double plunge that we normally see runners do to save time, and just opting to plunge once and then pod glide the rest of the way down.
He hasn't gone for any safety saves either, has he?
I don't think he's done safety saves, but a lot of the strats that he has been doing are relatively safe.
Froob finishing Groon. Finally, we'll have something to say about his part of the run.
Now, it'll be interesting to see for sure what Froob implements in terms of skips towards the end of the game here. A lot of these skips require some bit of practice, and one thing that you do miss out on by being a PS4 runner is the practice tools and save states that we have. You can still get the chapter select and save states on the PlayStation, but I don't know. It's just a lot easier to practice a lot of these skips down on PC.
I got it. I've been keeping an eye on you. I'm gonna shut off power to the factory now.
Do it.
It'll be interesting to see what he has actually practiced down.
Hang in there, 2B. 90%. 92. 95. 98.
Now, Froob actually is on pace to PB, I would imagine. I think this last section of the game takes about 20 minutes, I want to say. Copied City takes about 5, and Deep Factory towards the end takes about 15.
Depending on whether he does the skips, though, yeah.
That's true, yeah, very true.
Ooh, Pipe's getting some juicy crits. Ooh, delicious. Taking a couple hits, but nothing that he can't just suffer through.
Oh, and what's Froob doing? I don't think he actually... It looks like he's trying to go for Copied City Clip, but he doesn't know where Copied City Clip actually is.
Yeah, I think so. He was going for the old version 1, but I don't know if he probably doesn't know that the version 1 is not using a heavy hold clip. It's a plunge or pod launch. Nonetheless, it only saves a couple of seconds anyway, so he's just opting to go all the way around.
Alright, Pipe's on his way now out of the factory. See him do a couple, or one more out of bounds clip, and that'll be the last one for the run. Coming up right here, looks like he's not going to go for a Shabu clip.
Interesting. I do find it very interesting that the first and last out of bounds, and ooh, that's an interesting way to get stuck.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like he did pod launch into the stubbies that are waiting to jump into the lava. Normally they aren't there in prologue. The way we usually counteract this is by double jumping to get us out of range of them. Fortunately, it looks like Pipe's not getting enough height to not be triggered back into them with a pod launch.
Froob going for mansplaining skip here. Looks like his angle's a little too far left.
That was certainly something.
But he is adjusting, so we'll see if he gets it. Oh, nice, he got the clip. Good. Probably a bit late, so he won't be getting optimal time save, but better late than never. The skip, when done optimally, saves 40-some seconds, so it's pretty sizable.
I see.
Alright, and Pipe's now coming into the proverbial boss rush of the game. Right towards the end, we end up facing 4 bosses back to back to back.
The machine. Requesting a backup. Forces in range. Please, we can...
Let's move.
He'll be making his way back to the Burning Resistance camp, where he'll have to do a little bit of clearing behind his resistance camp, and then he'll move on to the final 4 bosses of the game.
Why are their numbers increasing like this?
Cause unknown.
Try contacting the bunker via laser relay system.
Affirmative.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh
Did
no.
Froob get the soft lock? Oh no.
Got the soft lock.
Yeah, there's no way out of this one. Oh.
Yeah, Froob unfortunately hitting one of the soft locks that will just straight kill your run. I don't think there's really a backup strat to recover out of this because of the unloaded floor. No way for you really to get over to the elevator.
Yep. The getting in the elevator unloads the area, so and it just so happens that the coordinates of the copied city are below where anything else walkable is.
Yep. And unfortunately, because of the way that NieR runs, you get stuck in this infinite falling state where it goes to wherever the last place you could stand was. And there's two different types of pauses. When you're moving or doing any combat, you sort of get a half pause, and when you're in a standing state, you can do a menu pause where you could load to a backup save or something like that. Unfortunately, because he's stuck in this infinite falling state, this is a true soft lock, and he will not be able to load back to a save state without restarting the game.
You again?
Pipe's about to fight Bokushi with the electrical water stuffs. Did Pipes equip a resilience? I don't remember.
I believe he did have the resilience, yes.
Okay.
Although I might be wrong on that. He did have a lot of room. He almost fit in 3 of those crit chips.
You okay?
I'm fine. Let's take this bastard down.
Right.
Alright, Pipes
That is
attacking core 1, using the hill to try and position himself a little better to hit that with the damage glitch.
They're still coming? What do we do? There's too many.
2B? 2B, can you hear me? Our village is under...
Pascal? Come in, Pascal!
Shit!
So Pipe's heading over to Pascal's village after Pascal has been terribly mauled by robotic dinosaurs, if you recall from the phone call. Should make pretty quick work of these enemies here.
9S! It seems the machines on the network have gone berserk. They've sealed off the entrance to the village and are trying to hold them off, but with these weapons, there's only...
Ooh, and those crits.
Let's take these guys out first.
We'll see if Pipes does get level 20 off of this core 2. I imagine he will, considering that he did choose to go.
And there it is, level 20.
Level 20 is a nice little bonus. I think it's about 5% extra damage, something like that.
Yeah, I don't actually know the numbers, I just know it's supposedly significant.
It's gotta be.
Yep, so that'll speed up his time on E for sure here. On top of those crit chips, it'll be interesting to see if he goes for the phase skip.
Location has been detected and placed on map.
A lot of the speed up on Eve can just be done by doing more damage. A couple things you want to avoid is his platforms phase. You can do that if you hit the damage threshold quick enough.
Surprisingly, speeding up a boss fight by increasing your damage is actually a viable strat. Who would have thought? Ooh, Pipe's getting some juicy crits in there. And getting the platform skip, Eve doesn't even begin screaming. That was a one cycle, super clean. 2B's got a sword sticking out of her waist.
He's absorbing the life force of whatever's left on the network.
Not going for the phase skip, but if he does damage quick enough, then he'll still save. He'll still basically get it. Okay, not quite. He didn't get enough damage for that. Still a very good phase. So Pipes is on his RTA timer. I don't know what his loadless timer looks like.
Generally, I'd have to say the loadless would be about a minute 40 slower, but he also didn't hit Desert Save Scum, which is about a 20-second, or no, not that much, about a 12-second time save.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oof, getting double hits there. Good thing he's got defense buffs. Some runners like to do this fight without defense buffs, and that results in if you get hit twice by any attacks, you will die. Heal Pipes! Oh my god.
So I am looking at his timer. He is at a 134 right now.
Okay.
His timer is about 2 minutes slower than his RTA.
Gotcha. So he's a little behind his PB, but even so, this looks to be a pretty solid run all around. Should be progressing through the third phase of Eve shortly. Spamming lasers and all that. There you go. Now we're in phase 4. Best part of any boss fight, best finale ever. You literally lose all of your attack, and all you can do is fire your pod. Pod's the true MVP. Without the pods, this speedrun wouldn't happen. He almost died. Oh boy.
Even it looks like he missed the skill salve on his buff cycle too, so that'll be a little bit slower here. And unfortunately, Eve being a little bit of a mean boy and flying away, he'll have to hobble over.
Oh, for anyone just tuning in, the right side, Froob soft locked, so he's just constantly voiding out and respawning back to a spot.
But you'll lose you, the you that exists at this very moment.
Alrighty. So it's going to be about a 137.20.
25?
25, yeah.
4?
This one I don't know my timing.
25. Dang.
There you go. Alright, so
137.
pretty solid run from Froob. Loadless, it was a 135.27, so about 2 minutes behind PB. Again, still a very solid run for a race. Alrighty, and we'll see if we can get both of them in here for a little bit of a post-race interview. Alright, we've got FroobMcGuffin in the chat.
Hey. So that run, huh?
For the record, my splits right now, I was 3 minutes and 38 seconds ahead of PB. So slightly upset. Slightly.
Hmm.
All in all, a pretty solid run. We didn't get to see the fabled green skip you talked about, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
Did you see the way the camera zoomed in on me just before the other android talked to you? That's the key to it. You have to make it so that the camera does like a 360 around you, and it goes so fast that it throws you outside of Grum. That's the trick.
I gotcha.
Froob dropping breadcrumbs for anybody wanting that $2,000 bounty. He's just too humble of a guy to claim it himself. Alright, so we've got Pipes now in the
hey, congratulations, Pipes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Good race. Good race, my dude.
Yeah.
So during that run, I found a really good new strat If you want to go fast, drink all your morning coffee before a race. So about 40 minutes through, you need to start using the bathroom.
Is that why I soft because I went before the run?
I think.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh my god. I was like 40 minutes in, I'm like, oh man, I need to use the bathroom.
That's that's unfortunate.
Pipes just slightly ahead on the running metagame here.
Have you considered taking a leak before the run, perhaps?
Myself, I did, but I had like, I don't know. I guess I just had that much coffee that it's kind of, you know. Anyway, things that are not bathroom habits. How are you all?
Not too bad. We had a lot of fun commentating that race. Froob, I think we were definitely sweating over some of your boss fights. You were notoriously
you need to heal,
low.
Man. You need to heal. Oh my goodness.
What happened, Froob?
He just had a low health bar.
Half HP like all the time.
I ran this back in October. We didn't have the resilience chip, so I'm not used to having my health high to be able to like tank stuff. I'm just like, oh, I'll take this to the face. Oh, it's fine.
We're afraid you're gonna die. Okay, Froob.
Yeah, that's spooky as hell because like a lot of these bosses, they can take off over half your health bar in one hit.
Yeah, especially when taunted.
I think the only boss that I was actually scared of was Adam 1.
Yeah, Adam 1, I was screaming a little bit for you.
Yeah, we were screaming at Adam 1, A2 as well. Oof.
Oh, no. Wait, so what's going on the stream? Where are you soft locked?
Mansplaining.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the first one of the tournament.
Oh, that's.
We forgot to get out of the elevator in time and just realized it was shutting. Oh no.
Yep, it was a pretty
something's
unanimous.
not right here.
It was 3.5 minutes ahead, so I'm slightly tilted myself.
Yeah.
Again, just think about it. Next race you go to do, it's going to be a free PB.
Yeah, you'll only get better.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you do it once and you never do it again.
But you've got at least 2 more matches, right? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, there's something important I want to shout out. I want to give a shout out to Mom, who's in the audience.
Oh yeah, we
Mama
definitely did the Mama Pipe shout out earlier in the race.
Big shout out to Mama Pipes and Papa Pipes if he's watching. I don't know. I don't know if he watches along with Mom. Who knows?
You notice you didn't do what is it? Mum skip either. Was that in honor of your Mama Pipe?
I actually I actually don't know how to do it.
Oh no!
It's something I've never practiced.
There's something sort of interesting we were talking
about. I've been running this game for I had a 7-month break. That was actually a pseudo PB, that run. By about,
oh yeah, was it?
Yeah, I call it a pseudo PB because it's not as good as
out of your recent attempts.
Yeah, from coming back.
Yeah,
7-month break. So, yeah. I don't know. That was. What was I saying? Oh yeah, mum skip. I just haven't learned it. It always the double lift on the ramp going up. I just can't get my head around it. So,
yeah, it's pretty tricky for some people. So.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, I haven't learned it myself either, to be fair. I'm just the execution is... I've got other things I can do to time save. I'll get to that when I get to it.
I mean, guys, all you gotta do is do a double lift. It's super simple, really. Just do it.
Yeah,
do the skip.
It's
have you considered doing the skip correctly?
Yeah, have you considered pressing buttons and playing the game?
Have you just considered world record? If you think you could do it, just world record.
Yeah, it's free. Yeah. If you can do anything you set your mind to. Out of curiosity, Pipes, what was your loadless time? Because we only have your RTA time on the
Oh yeah. It was 1:35:27.
Ooh, nice.
My pseudo PB before that was 136.58.
You know, that's really interesting. 135.27 is exactly 2 minutes behind your actual PB. It's 133.27.
Yeah, it's going on.
Dang.
Oh, mum just texted, well done. Alright, cool. Mission accomplished.
Go.
Very nice.
Hello.
And another thing
My
you're talking
everything
about
died.
that's kind of interesting in both of your runs, because Froob, you used to run the game a while ago, correct? And you've been sort of on hiatus, doing other speed runs. And then Pipes, again with the 7th-month break, so we kind of got a little bit of a window into the past on some of these run methods.
Yeah, yeah. The audio is breaking up a little bit. Or is that 6 or is that Discord?
I think
It might
it's 60 Pipes.
Oh yeah, it's breaking up for all of us.
Everyone except Pipes is a robot to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
All right. Well, I think that'll be a good note to end it off on.
Yeah. Thanks for racing. This was fun. Look forward to seeing your matches in later parts of the tourney. Oh, nice save file, by the way.
Yeah, meme.
So yeah, so we've got this tournament going. We'll have more matches soon. Please follow the runners. They're really good. And thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks, Speed Gaming, for hosting this tournament. I don't know if you could hear any of this because I might just sound like a robot, though.
I can kind of make it out. A little bit.
I went and typed out everything in chat, so.
Oh, 6 is there. I can hear 6.
Hey.
Yeah. GG's all around.
Yeah, GG's to both of you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the race.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Looking forward to watching your guys' upcoming races.
Oh.
Have a good
Maybe-
night or
maybe I'll
a
do
good
Monster.
day, everybody.